Every being has godhood. Volume 7, Hangman, is the moment where Lord of the Mysteries stops feeling like an incredible fantasy story and starts feeling like something so much larger. Up until now, Cuttlefish has spent 1,000 chapters planting mysteries, hinting at seemingly disconnected characters, ancient histories, and laying the foundations of the endgame. But Volume 7 is where everything, all those threads began weaving together, and somehow every revelation manages to answer long-standing questions while creating even bigger ones. What impressed me most wasn't the sheer amount of lore that gets revealed in Volume 7, but rather how natural it all feels. Nothing ever feels like it's coming out of nowhere. Instead, they make you look back at everything you've already read and realize the clues were there. And if you had just been more attuned to them, you may have noticed. That's incredibly difficult to pull off, especially in a story this long, and it's one of the reasons I think Volume 7 is the best volume in the entire series. Now, before we go any further, as always, spoiler warnings until the end of Volume 7. Duh. What surprised me most on my first read was how slow the beginning really felt. After the war, all the chaos of the previous volume, Klein simply wanders, performing magic tricks, granting wishes, helping complete strangers without asking for a thing. And that, to me, felt like Klein getting a chance to be unapologetically himself, someone who loves humanity so much. This is the best representation of him. Merlin isn't another identity for Klein. It's the final time we get to see Zhou live as a normal person, before he ascends beyond humanity. The Miracle Invoker sequence isn't just about gaining stronger abilities, it's about understanding people, granting their wishes, and experiencing ordinary life one more time before it's gone forever. Those quiet moments become incredibly bittersweet because you realize slowly this is the last time Klein will ever truly belong amongst the ordinary people. It is also in this volume that we see Klein's hunger and love for money disappear, because that's a part of his humanity that is lost when he became an angel. We don't see him count money anymore. We don't hear his inner thoughts. There is no more lampooning. His advancement to Sequence 2, ownership of Sephra Castle, the gradual digestion of the Miracle Invoker potion, all reinforce that his transformation is accelerating, and even while the story appears all calm. And then there's Roselle. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a legendary character handled this well. For over 1,000 chapters, Roselle has existed as almost an entirely mythical creature, entirely through his diary entries. A man who shaped the world, someone whose shadow hangs over everything. It is so easy to forget that beneath all of that, he's just a man from Earth. And when Klein finally meets him, the story strips away every ounce of that legend and just leaves us with two people who understand each other in a way no one else does. Roselle isn't some untouchable emperor. He's exhausted, corrupted, and knows he is no longer the protagonist. His age has passed. Yet instead of dwelling on himself, he spends his time trying to help Klein to avoid the mistakes he made. Their conversation isn't exciting because of the information it reveals. It's just heartbreaking. For the first time since Chapter 1, Zhou gets to talk to someone who remembers the same world he came from. And for all of the heartbreaking moments in Lord of the Mysteries, the one where Roselle tells Klein, "I can feel your loneliness," the loneliness that comes from deep within your bones, that hit me like a damn truck, because Roselle also talked about in his diary entries how when he came to this world he was alone, but over time he began to spread roots, settle down, have a family. But Klein never did. Klein is truly, genuinely all alone, in a way that's unnerving for even another transmigrator. And then Roselle says goodbye with the hope that one day they'll meet again, perhaps in another life. And suddenly, one of the series' greatest mysteries becomes its most emotional moment. Of course, this is also the volume where Cuttlefish decides to change our understanding of the world, the meetings with the Seven Lights, the revelations of the outer deities, the explanation of why they're trying to invade the Earth, the truth behind the world barrier, the oldest one, the celestial worthy, and the complete meaning behind the title Lord of the Mysteries itself. Completely redefine the scale of the story. For so long, we've been focused on beyonders, churches, pathways, kingdoms, countries, only to realize that the Earth is sitting in the middle of a cosmic conflict far beyond all of that. What makes this so fascinating isn't simply that the lore is deep. It's that every revelation makes previous events even more meaningful. Suddenly, Evernight's actions, the blasphemy slate, Roselle's corruption, even Klein's own pathway fit into this large picture. And if I can bring this back to my goat Roselle one more time, when he says, "I don't know if you want to become a great old one or not, nor do I know if this requires a ritual, I can only tell you that this is definitely more dangerous than becoming a deity, countless times more dangerous. Perhaps the existence who stored us and threw us back into the real world is waiting for you there." Makes this feel so much more complicated. Roselle, this legendary man, saying, "I failed at this step and the place you wish to go is countless times more dangerous. Good luck." Oh my days! Then comes Utopia, and I genuinely think this is the greatest horror arc I've ever read. What makes it so brilliant is that the horror doesn't come from monsters or violence. It's all perspective. Cuttlefish stops showing us Klein's point of view and lets us experience Utopia through ordinary people, watching investigators arrive in what appears to be a peaceful town, hearing visitors describe how wonderful this is. Everything's normal, until tiny details start to pile up. The town isn't on any maps. Witnesses contradict each other. People remember things differently, every chapter adding a layer of unease until you realize something is really wrong. And by the time the famous chapter I arrives, I wasn't just wondering what was happening in Utopia, I was questioning everything I thought I understood about Klein's abilities and where the story is heading. And the dystopian horror that exists from realizing what Klein looks like to the ordinary person now is unbelievable. We forget the depth of Klein's abilities because we've seen it grow step by step. We still remember what Klein was a couple hundred chapters ago, in chapter 1, in chapter 50. We know little by little how he gained these abilities and who he is at heart. But from the outside looking in, he is terrifying. And as incredible as Utopia is, the biggest revelation of Volume 7 has to be Adam. Before this, Adam always felt terrifying because of how little we knew about him. He was calm, mysterious, and always seemed several steps ahead of everyone. But somehow, even finally when he begins explaining things, he becomes even more frightening. The conversations surrounding Adam don't just answer questions, they recontextualize the entire series. Learning the truth of his identities, the ancient sun god, his attempts, his true abilities, don't even feel like an attempt to surprise us. It just feels inevitable. Every strange event, every unexplained coincidence, every hint from hundreds of chapters ago clicks. And that's what impressed me. Cuttlefish wasn't just making things up as he went along. He knew everything from the very start. In my mind, Adam is effectively Cuttlefish writing himself into the story. And no, you can't change my mind on that. Finally, Volume 7 reminds us that every step Klein takes towards becoming stronger also pushes him further away from being a human. Every advancement grants him unimaginable power, but it also strips him away of another piece of his humanity and the life he knew. And by the time he reaches a sequence 1, it has become clear this journey is no longer about becoming stronger. It's about sacrifice, loneliness, about a man having to carry responsibilities no one should ever have to bear. Looking back, that's why Merlin matters so much. These chapters aren't filler, they're Klein's farewell to humanity. His final chance to walk through the cities, performing magic tricks and making people smile and live as Joe before he becomes the impossible burden of the fool and maybe even the Lord of the Mysteries. That's why I think Volume 7 is one of the greatest payoffs I've ever experienced. It rewards patience, careful reading, proving that Cuttlefish has so much confidence not only in his own abilities, but in us as readers. Every mystery, every emotional moment, everything builds towards something bigger. And when you finish the volume, you realize you haven't just learned more of the world, you've learned that the entire series has been building towards this. Thank you so much if you managed to make it to the end of the video. And now to my live watchers. Sorry this video took so long. And as always, a special thank you to all of my members. You guys know how long these videos take to make. Obviously, it doesn't take quite this long, but here we are. Anyway, please let me know how you like Volume 7, and please comment below your favorite moment in Volume 7. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Bye, guys.